All right, first I'd like to thank you for coming to the presentation today. This presentation was started over a year ago. When we first were looking around and trying to figure out what is happening in the village and how we continue to lose value in things that we think should be going up in value, okay? So myself and Art Olsen got together one weekend and we started talking as friends and said, hey, what's going on? How good? Art's background, he's been a guy that's come in and taken over companies and restructured them and turned them around. He's kind of a turnaround type artist, and maybe that's kind of what we thought we might need here in the village based on the way we're going. So we sat down and we tried to figure out a plan that would allow Hot Springs Village to generate as much revenue with the least amount of risk as possible. Okay, that was our goal, because it just seems like we just didn't have anybody looking at revenue. And the first thing we had to do, and we had to decide, what does Hot Springs Village have to sell? And we looked around, and the only thing we found that we really could sell that had immediate revenue and long-term revenue was lots. And we're not doing that. We don't understand why we're not doing it, okay? So we thought, we talked some more about it, and based upon the environment, we thought, can we really do anything? Can we really make a change? And we weren't sure, so we decided to put together a presentation and talk to as many people as we could to see what they thought about our plan and whether or not they thought it made any good business sense, okay? So now we did realize that there's a couple of negatives that we saw in the first thing that we would have to overcome. And if you're looking at selling something, you got to look at the whole picture. And one of the negatives was Arkansas. Because if you bring up any retirement thing, you don't find Arkansas in the retirement deal at all. So that's kind of a negative. So we've got to be able to bring people here for a reason, a good reason, okay? The next thing that we realized is that this program did not fit into Leslie Nally's agenda at all. Why? We really don't know, but it just didn't fit. So that's one thing we realized we'd have to overcome. So the other thing that has to do with lots and value is that we felt like we had to get control of our gates, okay? And make sure that no unauthorized non-property owner would have access or be allowed in the village, okay? So that was another issue that we felt like we really had to have looked at. And what we were really trying to gain is exclusivity. We've got to create exclusivity back in the village. We've lost it. We had it back in 2001, 2003, 2005. We were a going concern. I mean, people wanted to move to Hot Springs Village. We've lost it. And what really exclusivity means to the property owners out here, we believe, it means value, okay? And we've got to recreate that exclusivity and that value. The other thing that we came to the conclusion of is that not everyone can afford to live in Hot Springs Village, okay? So that's a hard thing to say to a lot of people, but it's kind of like, you know, I'd like to live on Pebble Beach, but I can't afford it, okay? Nice place, but I just can't afford it. So, you know, we feel like we need to make it exclusivity, we need to have value, and that may eliminate some people, but that's the way it is. We also believe that Cooper communities and the village leadership should have seen the need for a long-term lot selling program to continue. Okay, with 34,000 of anything, especially lots, you're going to have turnover and you're going to get them back. You need to continue to keep the value up and continue to market them long term. Okay, so that's one of the things that we look at and say, hey, that should have happened. If it had, we probably wouldn't be in this position we are now, but it didn't. It's just, they just simply miss that point, okay? And here again, this program is not a quick fix. It's a long-term financial solution for the village, okay? So that's our initial deal. Now, we have as the one thing we need to do is how do we recreate the value story of the village, okay? And we had to look at where we are right now, okay? And what's going on. And the first question is, what is the status of the village concerning the POA current revenue plan? They currently don't have one. We realize they do not have a workable revenue plan in place at this time at all. And to explain that, during my 16 years here of living in the village, the POA has never created any program that I'm aware of that has raised revenue other than raising my dues and my assessments. Nothing else. That's the only thing they have done. That's the only thing they have in place as of today to really generate the revenue that it takes. So we felt like we would have to create a sales program that focused on something, and we had to change our whole approach into selling amenities. And I mean amenities and amenities. That's what we have, okay? And that's where the value is in our amenities, okay? And we all realize that, I think. Maybe we don't sometimes, or we forget it, but that's where the real value of the village is. And what I mean by that is Cooper Community sold 34,000 lots, largely based on future amenities, okay? Now we have the very best amenities in the country, and we are not selling our amenities at all in any program that I'm aware of, okay? So we think we need to sell amenities for sure. And recognize that a lot selling program also has been very successful twice. Once with communities and once with NRP. And the NRP really showed that the village was undervalued if properly marketed and sold, okay? So, and one of the very last things that we have that we believe is that the POA needs to be out of the house selling business. We have some great real estate companies that can handle the sale of homes out here. They do not need to be in the home selling business at all. Now, what we believe we have out here are, well, let me back up. We believe that the POA's current decision to shut down lot sales is entirely wrong. It is entirely wrong. We understand they do not want anyone to buy a lot and wanting them to build a house, which could cause the village to incur large infrastructure costs. We understand that. And we agree with that. But the genie's already out of the bottle in that. We've got 12,000 people that own lots out here that could come in next week and say, we'd like to build. What are we going to do? So the genie is out of the bottle about selling lots. It's just not there. Now, but we do believe that we need to take, as a Hot Springs Village POA, we need to look into controlling every lot out here if possible. Because by controlling it, we can create demand, okay? And we need to break our lots up into two types. We need to build them into buildable lots, okay, which are ones that can be built on, and we need them into amenity lots, as we term it. An amenity lot is a lot that cannot be built on, but you have all of the amenities available to you as a member of Hot Springs Village. Now that's going to take a lot of manpower to analyze all of our current lots plus the ones that are at Arkansas Land Commission and determine which ones should fall into each category to begin with. And there'll be changes as we go along. There'll be some that move from amenity lots into buildable lots, okay? But right now, we need to look at those. Now, it just so happens we've got plenty of time because we've got over 3,000 lots currently ready that if the village wanted to start selling, we already own. So we've got some time to look at that other 7,000 that are sitting out there and put them into the right category and determine what's what. Some of those are going to fall into buildable, some of them are going to fall into amenity lots. Some of the existing 3,000 lots should be classified as amenity lots probably. So that will get us started as far as the type of lots that we have out here. To suspend a lot, as they have determined to do, what is the value of that? You immediately lose the revenue of being able to sell it, and you then lose the long-term revenue of your dues coming in. So to suspend a lot, we can't figure out where the logic is of suspending anything that we believe is sellable and has value. We do believe that if a amenity lot, even though it's not buildable, if a person buys an amenity lot later on, they should be able to come in and trade that lot for a buildable lot based on whatever value of that buildable, the difference between the value of his amenity lot and the buildable lot that he would want to do. And we would take the amenity lot back and resell it again, okay? And of course, the other thing is that you got to look at how many buildable or how many homes do you really want in the village. That needs to be one of the things we look at. I don't think we want 34,000 homes out here. We couldn't support 34,000 homes out here. You know, we need to analyze that. We think we're probably looking at 4,000 to 5,000 more before we make another large jump in infrastructure. And we would have to analyze the cost and return on that. So those are the type of lots. Buildable, you have, just as you do now, you have all the amenities. You build a home, everything like that. The amenity lots, you literally will only have available to use our amenities as often as you want to, because you remember, we have 12,000 of them already, so we know it works. We know that people want to be amenity owners, okay? Let's give more people that chance to be amenity owners. The other thing is that in order to do this, we need everybody to support our plan, okay? And we really needs to be a well-defined and rolled out to everyone in a grand fashion. We don't need to piecemeal this thing out. We need to announce it to all of our owners because we're going to try and do something that's good for the whole village. It needs to be rolled out as a program that, hey, we're making a change. We see that we need to do some things differently in these or that. And what is our value plan under this revenue and marketing plan? The day that this program initiated, our lowest price amenity lot in the village is going to be $5,000, okay? And we will only have 1,000 of them for sale at that. So we have to create some demand, and we're going to set a price that we believe that 5,000 is what our amenities are worth right now to someone. To have our amenities available to them, $5,000 is kind of our membership fee, so to speak. Not a membership fee. I don't want to sell memberships. I'm selling land. I'm selling lots, okay, a deeded lot to someone. So that, and so that with this announcement, everybody's going to see that their values hopefully will go up by $5,000, because now the lowest price lot is $5,000. Right now, a lot of people tell me, well, you can't do that, there's zero. Well, you know, that's down. If I say they're going to be 5,000, if I can't sell any at zero, what difference does it make if I don't sell any at 5,000? Okay? So give me the chance, or give us the chance to see if we can turn this thing around. and create that deal. So we are, the real estate companies will really welcome this new program, because we're going to use them or some of their people to sell these lots, okay? Dedicated lot salespeople from our existing real estate companies located in the village, which will mean they'll have additional sales, they'll have additional revenue, and they'll have additional traffic coming in to the village. So the real estate companies should, and we believe, based on our discussion, will support this type of action. So, how do we generate traffic? We believe that we're missing an opportunity right now because the current POA does not understand marketing and really does not know what they're trying to sell. We really don't understand what they're trying to do. Okay, first off, we need a simple but effective HSV marketing website and a customer relation management system program that is completely separate from the current HSV member website. The new website will focus on drawing new people to Hot Springs Village and selling at least an amenity lot to every visitor. Okay, that's our focus, is sales. All leads and visits will be tracked and owned by Hot Springs Village property owners. The current land and development organization will be restructured, and a new powerful selling director brought in to head up the new high-powered lot selling team. An amenity value script, sales script, will be developed and used by everyone in the village. And a lot selling team will be made up of dedicated real estate salespeople provided by local real estate companies. So we got everyone hopefully getting involved. Now, Art and I wanted to see what type of social media type leads we had out there. So we went to one of the largest personal data supply companies and gave them certain parameters. Okay, our parameters were they had to be within 500 miles of the village, and they had to have a net worth of $500,000. How many emails fit into that category? And we came back that there's 317,000 internet contacts available, and we could get those contacts for $6,000, okay, total investment, and start marketing those. So that's 317,000. We looked at it a little bit different. We said, all right, same 500 miles, but let's bump it up to $750,000 net worth. There was 221,000 of those available to us. So the market for social media, to start doing social media at a very reasonable cost of only $6,000 or $4,000 if we went with the higher net worth, is out there. These numbers did not include any of the Hot Springs Village zip codes at all. So these are people outside of Hot Springs Village. We did not include our own. Of course, we also know about the 10,000 boomers that are reaching age 65 every year. And we certainly want to market to those, okay? Because they are looking at making changes, possibly moving to new areas, and we want to do that. But we really also want to focus on families that understand amenity values, okay? And maybe 5 to 10 years away from retirement. They're not ready to move, but they want a place that they can bring their family 3 or 4 times a year and enjoy the amenities of the village. And that is how they can do it, by becoming an amenity owner, becoming an amenity lot owner. Over time, we think if we're doing a good job, we will see the village increase. They will see the village increase. Their lots will go up in value. They will then decide, hey, maybe I ought to build here now. I'm seeing increases in true value of land and amenities, and they'll trade their amenity lot in for a buildable lot in the future. We can't depend on waiting till someone wants to move or build a house in the village and grow the way we need to generate revenue. We just can't get that many people through here. Okay? Our goal is to make sure that the amenity lots also are increasing in value every year. Okay? And the way we do that is we increase the value of our amenities. We make them better and better and better. And the way you do that is you become a little bit more exclusive each year. Here again, exclusivity equals value. More exclusive, the more people want in here, the harder it is to get into the village, the more value there is in the village and everything associated with it. Now, how do we do that? We feel like that we have to have a new sales and marketing team altogether, okay? We need to restructure, as I said, the land and development group and make it into a focused amenity lot selling and marketing organization, okay? We drive traffic through our new website with social media, what we call amenity events, which is golf tournaments, pickleball tournaments, bridge tournaments, any type of event that gets people in it we consider that an amenity event. And also village referrals. A key part of our program, we believe, will be village referrals. So we will contract with the real estate companies to provide the personnel to do our tours and become our amenity lot selling team, okay? And they will receive 50% of the $5,000 of the amenity lot sales, okay, in order to give them enough money so that lots become profitable to them. Okay. We will work with local businesses to create some type of discount booklet to give to these people that take tours with us so that they have something that they can go out and visit our restaurants and our golf courses and our different places here. And so we'll develop a discount book for taking a tour, as well as possibly giving them a free dinner at our restaurants or around the golf or some tennis time or pickleball time. But we're going to make sure that their visit here is as pleasurable as we can, and that we're giving them something of value to take a tour, because we want them to take a tour. We also want to sell them something when they take a tour. We definitely want to sell them something, do everything we can to sell them something. The other thing is we'll set up a village referral program, which will offer a $500 gift card to any property owner who refers a person who purchases any type of lot from the new sales and marketing team. In fact, we look back at Cooper Communities. When they had a personal referral from someone, they had a 75% show-up rate in all of those tours. That is tremendous, okay? The village referral program could be really a big part of this whole program. Now, how do we generate traffic? We are missing sales opportunities every day, okay? Any authorized nonprofit property owner that comes through our gates needs to be treated as a sale prospect, okay? We need to get their name, their address, and their email address and put them into our marketing program. And because we're having plenty of people come through, but we're not getting anything from them. We're not even trying to sell them anything. They come in, they'll play a round of golf, they'll play some tennis, No one gets their name, no one gets their address, no one gets their email address, no one tries to take them on a tour. We want to do all of that because once we capture that information, they become a prospect for us, and we can start marketing to those guys. So, and we have, I would dare say, hundreds come through our gates every week that literally come in here and leave, and no one really tries to sell them anything. We think we should try to sell every one of them at least an amenity lot while they're here, while they're having the experience of the village and they cannot believe how great this place is. And you hear so much of, I didn't even know anything like this was ever even available. My goodness, why not ask them, would you like to join us and share in these amenities? It's not a hard question to ask. People are asking us kind of, how do I do this? And we're saying, we're not interested. We're not interested for some reason. So we think we need to show these people while they're here all of our amenities so that the guy will see that, hey, he can play golf 7 days a week out on a different course. His wife can play pickleball. She can go have bridge, any number of things. And it only costs you $500 a year dues, and it costs you a $5,000 amenity lot. Simple equation. Every amenity group, and what we consider an amenity group is the golf department's an amenity group, the tennis department's an amenity group, bridge clubs are an amenity group, the pickleball is an amenity group. Each one of those needs to be responsible for driving traffic, okay, into the village with more activities. Okay, we need more new property owners in here. But their part of each one of their salaries should be tied to how much traffic they drive into the village every year. Okay, they need to be focused just like everyone else, including the property owners, to drive as much business as we possibly can into the village, and let our village amenity sales team do their best to close the business when we get them in here. They need to develop these plans and focus on amenities. Like I said, we really need to focus on our amenities. The lot sale is a byproduct as far as we're concerned. They just have to have that in order to take advantage of our great amenities for $500 a year. Okay, and that's a bargain if you think about it, compared to back home. If they wanted to join a country club, they're looking at $10,000 to $20,000. They're looking at $5,000 to $1,000 a month. They could for $5,000 come up here 4 times a year and have amenities far better than anything else they have anywhere at home. Of course, the HSV sales team is going to coordinate all this with the new amenities group. So they'll be in coordination with each of the amenity groups, making sure that they are driving traffic to it. So what can happen if we do this, if we make these kind of changes? If you think about it, if only half of all our property owners, approximately 9,000, and only half of our non-resident property owners sent which is about 12,000, sent us one referral that actually closed, we would sell our 10,000 available lots. We'd sell our 10,000, what we're deeming amenity lots. This is the lowest amount of revenue. A lot of them will be buildable lots. They'll decide, I'm going to go ahead, I like this place so much, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get my foot in the door, because they only have 1,000. They only got a certain number of buildable lots. We need to, maybe I need to pay 15,000, get me a nice buildable lot. But this will generate a minimum of $50 million revenue if it was only 10,000 amenity lots and $5,000 a year in dues. Now, and doesn't add any infrastructure cost to us other than what we have right now. We're not generating any infrastructure costs with amenity lots at all. So we don't see why this doesn't make good business sense. It increases everybody's value, and it really creates a financially sound village that we don't have right now. Is it what we want to do? I believe it is. I believe it's what the people of Hot Springs Village would like to see. It's a proven methodology. It's worked twice in the past. Why it's not being done now, I just can't tell you. A couple of things that I want to say. In order to do this, we need to start today. Our presentation says we're going to sell 500 lots in 2020. We're not sure we can do that. What if we sell 250? We're light years ahead of where we are now. We got 6 months to set this organization up and get it started to be ready to go in 2020. We need to go ahead and set the new amenity lot value at $5,000 and let all the lot owners know that we are trying to do something. We're trying to increase their value rather than telling them they're worthless. Okay? We'll need to get the contractual agreements with the real estate companies. We've already talked to them. They seem to like the program. They don't believe that Hot Springs Village needs to be in the home selling business. We agree, but we do need to be in the lot selling business because we own all the lots. Okay, but we want them to be a part of it. We want them to be a big part of it and share in the revenue, trying to make it financially feasible for them to do this. We'll need to take this 6 months and get our new website up and get our people trained and get to focusing on amenities and exclusivity. We need to get all the villagers start talking about our VRP program, our village referral program, and thinking, well, what am I going to do with my $500? Okay, or $1,000? If you think about it, these people that have Airbnb and have people come in every week, I would be getting every one of those guys to take a tour. It might be worth $500 to me. So, you know, we need to do that, and all the people that are renting their places, get that. We need to work with the Village Inn and get some special rates to the village for our new potential buyers, because part of our program is that we would offer a 2-night stay for $99 if they came up here and took a tour. We need to get the new customer relations marketing program up and going and begin capturing people that are coming through our gates right now and start marketing to those people by collecting their name, their address, and their website. If you're coming through our gates, we want to know who you are, and we want to be able to send you information about this facility. We need to work with the Arkansas Land Commission, determine what can be done to ensure that Hot Springs Village has the first option on any available lots coming to their inventory. Okay, we need to control all of our lots somehow. So, you know, that, and to take a deep breath and to start working, that's what it's going to take. This isn't brain surgery. It isn't rocket science. It's a proven methodology. It's worked in the past. We believe it'll work again if we have the right people get behind it and promote it and sell it. So, you know, as I said, we've talked to as many people as we can. A lot of people would tell me, you can't sell a lot for $5,000. if I'm not selling it today, or if I'm selling it for having to give it away, why not give me a chance to see if I can sell it for $5,000? Maybe I can't. Maybe I can sell it for $4,000. But I'm willing to say, let's raise the value. Let's increase the value of the village. These amenities we have, and I traveled all over the Southwest this past winter looking for warm weather, which I found none. But I did not find one place that had the amenities that we do for $68 a month or $38 a month if you do not live here. There's nowhere in the country. That has to be worth something, guys, if we get out and we promote it and we sell it. We aren't selling it. And the other question that I would ask, with the current things that are going on, if we had 100 people show up next week, what would they try to sell them? I don't know. They don't have a sales organization that could handle 100, okay? And I'm not sure what they would sell them. A house? Selling them a house does us no good. We've already getting those dues. We're not getting any extra revenue. Okay, we need extra revenue. We need extra sources of revenue. Having one person move out and one person move in doesn't help us one bit. Okay, we need either new homes, and I don't think we'll find 100 people coming here that want to buy or build all new homes, but we might find 100 people that love the village, see the value of our amenities, and decide, hey, this is a heck of a deal for me to bring my family to 4 and 5 and 6 times a year, and it only cost me $5,000, hard to believe, and $500 a year. And I believe it's going to go up in value. That's why all these people invested in the village to begin with. We need to get that thing going back up instead of down. And that's it. You're quite welcome. Any questions? Any questions at all? You have been involved in all this and talked to a lot of people. Tell me what you think.
I think you've got some very good ideas.
They're not new.
Right.
They're not being implemented for some reason.
They're not selling the lots. They don't appear to be attempting to sell the lots.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what else we have to sell. I really don't. I don't know any other asset that we have to sell. People talk about, and here again, I presented this to Phil. We've presented to probably 25 people, okay, individual people. And Phil has a great deal that they can generate additional revenue through golf, but it's a one-hit deal. People come in and use our amenities, pay us golf fees, and then leave if we don't try to sell them something else. Mm-hmm. Okay? We need to try and sell them something else. We need to get the $5,000 and the $500 a year, mm-hmm. and have them come back more often, okay, than once a year or whenever their tournament is.
Do you know what happens when you contact Telco Village and you express an interest in their community?
Mm-hmm.
On the POA website at Telco Village, you fill out the form just like on our website. They refer you to a realtor, not a Telco realtor, a community realtor.
Well, I'm all for that also, but see, I don't think if our current real estate people have all these lots, mm-hmm. they could be doing something like this.
Right.
Our current real estate people aren't good at selling amenities,
right.
to be quite honest with you. They aren't selling amenities. Mm-hmm. They're not selling amenity value of our properties out here, right. to be real honest. They should be selling, they should take the initiative and say our amenities are worth $5,000, mm-hmm. period. Therefore, every lot has to be worth $5,000. Right. They aren't.
Right.
Okay. Now, they could be doing it. That's why I think the POA has to stay in the lot selling business.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
Okay. Let the realtor sell the homes.
Right.
All they want to. but we need to have a dedicated amenity lot selling organization. But I don't want to pay a bunch of people. I want to use the real estate company because they're going to be the big beneficiary of this traffic in the long run. Okay, and we try to make it as worthwhile as we could for them by giving them half the revenue of the amenity lot in order to say that. And I ran this by a couple of real estate companies, and they were very agreeable that they thought that, because of a couple of things. It opens up 3,500 lots, which they do not have access to right now at all. They have no access.
We're not on the MLS, right?
They are not on the MLS. This would open them up to all of them, okay? As far as the organization that we would set up, okay? So it would make sense. Now, the ones that we sell will be sold through our dedicated sales team, okay?
Right. My only point about Teleco was that if I was interested in purchasing an existing home and not building or not buying an amenity lot, I think that those people should be referred to our independent realtors.
I agree. To a certain degree, let me back up just a second. If we have a dedicated team and we generate the lead, I believe the POA needs to get a part of the commission of that, because we are spending money to advertise and get them. It's just like if, but I don't want to sell it. All I want to do is generate the lead, flip it over to the real estate companies and take a fee for it. Okay, so I can help pay our expenses of marketing to that guy and getting him here, because we may have to give him a $99 package.
Yes.
Okay, in order to get him here.
And there's overhead.
And there's overhead to get that to the real estate company. So under my program, anything we give them that they end up selling, like a home lead or something like that, we would be kind of like the signing up agent of that lead, flip it over to them, let them, and put it into their home network, sell it, and then we would take a fee for it. And
so you would be working in conjunction.
I have a question. Now, so an amenity lot,
yes.
If somebody buys an amenity lot, would there be a clause in there that they cannot build on it?
Yes, absolutely.
That's a good idea.
Absolutely. They cannot build on it. None of these can be built on in the future at all.
Right.
And here again, I understand kind of what the POA is trying to do with these suspended lots, but it just goes against my better judgment to take a revenue source when we don't have any other than lots and suspend them where you're not going to get any revenue. You're not going to get any assessment dues out of them. I mean, it doesn't make sense. We got them sitting here, they're platted, they're all marked. Let's change them to amenity lots where they can't be built on, but don't suspend the dead gum things. I don't know what they're planning on doing with suspended lots. I mean, it's killing all of us because we're not getting the revenue. And I can't support any increase in dues when the POA is not doing anything to generate revenue in any other way.
That makes sense.
And they're not increasing our amenity values. So if they're not increasing my amenity values and they're not generating any other form of revenue, why do I have to be the one that carries all the burden? So, we need to get these people to start thinking in revenue, and they aren't doing it.
No, they're not.
They're not doing it. So, there's a lot of things that need to be worked out, but we have talked to real estate companies. They seem to like, number one, the POA getting out of the house selling business. As I don't really think we're in it anyways, but I guess there's a perception we are. I don't think we're doing very much, but except writing a bunch of checks. We need to bring those guys into the fold for being our sales team for our amenity lots, our tours. We need to train them to become amenity salesmen, just like Cooper trained their salesmen to be killer salesmen and selling lots. And we need to think about it, that this organization is going to be around for the life of the village. Okay, it's an organization that's going to be set up and be here forever, because we're going to have a constant turnover of lots for whatever reason, okay? That they're going to be, with 34,000 of anything, there's going to be change constantly. People deciding they don't want to do anything, well, we'll take their lot back, okay, and sell it again. We're not going to take it back for what they bought it for, possibly, maybe so, depending on what the value is then. Maybe we took my goal would be to take in 2020, to have the amenity lot sell for $5,000. In 2021, they'd sell for $7,500 a piece. In 2022, they'd sell for $10,000 a piece, okay? Because that's what this place really is. This place is undervalued, tremendously undervalued. I've been all over the Southwest and looked at 5 or 6 properties of this type of things. Nothing really compares to us, but the values that are out there that these guys are getting, we can only dream about right now.
Have you thought about presenting this to the board?
I presented to Leslie Nally, and Leslie suggested I go to the CMP Advisory Committee and present it to them. I called Keith about 2 months ago, I guess it was, and said, we'd like to make a presentation to you. And he said they weren't ready, which probably is right.